Welcome back. Business is joining the community of Orlando to lend a helping hand in the aftermath of the devastating terrorist attack. STK restaurants around the world, owned by parent company One Group, are serving a cocktail called Orlando Pride. Proceeds of the drink will go toward helping victims and their families. The Orlando location will be also serving dinner to first responders at local firehouses this weekend. Joining me right now is One Group CEO Jonathan Segal. Jonathan, good to have you on the program.
Nice to be here.
Very nice thing to do, Orlando Pride. What are you trying to do here in terms of...
We just opened in Orlando. We opened in Disney Springs, and it was, quite alarming to learn that the gunman was in Disney Springs, moments before it happened. So, whenever these things happen, it's emotional, but when it happens in your backyard, you really start to feel a little bit more. And it was a shock to us. It's, I grew up in an environment where there was always terrorism with the IRA in England, and so we were kind of aware of it. But, there's a lot of people in America that aren't aware so close to terrorism to their home state or their hometown, and this was a big impact for us. So whatever we could stand up and do, we obviously wanted to do.
That's great, and I'm really so happy that you're also serving dinner to the first responders.
Absolutely.
They did an unbelievable job.
Remarkable. I mean, isn't that so American? When anything ever happens, this country comes together in spite of everything, and everybody comes out to help and to do what they can, and it really is such an uplifting event for us all.
It's such a good point and such a good reminder, because we see the families, we see the victims, and we pray and mourn for them, but we also think of those first responders that deal with this carnage, the doctors and nurses, but also the guys in the SWAT team that went into that building and did what they did. I mean, they do that for all of us every day in communities. So you're not just doing this in Orlando, you're doing it at all 11
everywhere we can,
right?
Of course. In all of our venues, we will do that. And whenever we try to come together in our own, and it's only a little way, but anything that we can do that can kind of unite people around anything that's going on, and we can make a 5-minute or a momentary contribution to it, it's absolutely worth doing, because it also makes the people that work with us feel good. It feels that they're working with a company that's prepared to go out there and put itself up front and center to help where it can. It's not a big contribution, but it's still something, and if we just need lots of little contributions that make a big result.
Does it concern you much at all that this took place in a nightclub? You own nightclubs and restaurants.
So, it's a really good question. Restaurants and nightclubs are obviously great targets because there's so many people there and they're just not aware. They're only aware, we're learning how to be more aware in our day-to-day lives. But that's when we're in environments where there's not a million other distractions. In a restaurant, we're kind of focused on our own experience, and we tend not to look up. We tend maybe not to look around. And so one of the things that we always do, and the authorities are really good at it, they will come out and they will educate you on what to look for, how to be alert, how to be aware. And, whenever anything bad happens, we can always turn here in New York to the NYPD, and they will produce documentation, literature of things to look out for and to be alert about. And it makes a difference because, as I said, we're dealing with a consumer that's really more focused on what's going on 5 feet in front of them, whereas today we're learning how to be more conscious about maybe what's going on around us, but it's not so much in a restaurant. So we've become a very soft target.
Yeah, and of course this year is 15 years since 9/11, and the NYPD did such an incredible job, and all the first responders. You're building new STK restaurants in Puerto Rico.
We are.
Later this year. Okay, there's a debt crisis in Puerto Rico. You've got concerns about Zika in Puerto Rico. Why are you starting up 2 new restaurants there now?
So, when you look back at the history of our company, we opened our first venue in 2006, and then in 2008 the recession started. And everybody would come to us and say, why on earth are you investing the way you're investing in a recession? Because the reality is you have to invest for the future. If I wait till the recession ends, or if I wait till Puerto Rico's fixed, then my cost of entry into Puerto Rico is going to be far greater, firstly. Secondly, yes, they have an economic crisis, but they'll get over their economic crisis. The community, the businesses, the authorities, the government here will help to do everything they can to steer them through the crisis.
So you see value. You see value at a tough time.
I see opportunity, and the truth of the matter is I have confidence in the businesses there. I have confidence in the people there. I have confidence, despite everything we're reading, I have confidence about tourism there. There's a lot of money being invested in Puerto Rico today. I was thinking about it the other day. Wouldn't we have all been the smartest people if we bought real estate in Miami in the 80s? And how about buying property in New York when it went bankrupt?
In the 70s, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you
you're
know,
right. You're
everybody, they looked at some of these people, the Wright brothers, and said they were crazy. Weren't they the smartest guys?
But Jonathan, there are more than 1,500 confirmed cases of Zika in Puerto Rico right now.
So Zika is an issue. I mean, I think the CDC has it at level 2. Level 2, I believe, is extra precautions that you need to take. Zika is an issue, but then it's going to be resolved. Look, earlier last year, the world was going to end because of Ebola. Years ago, the world was going to end because of HIV. But eventually, enough energy, enough money, enough impetus is put into these issues to find solutions. And I think a solution we find. Bear in mind also, we don't open until 2017.
Okay.
So we've got a good runway for the issue to be resolved.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, where wouldn't you open a new restaurant right now?
Where wouldn't I?
Too expensive? Where? Where wouldn't you open a new restaurant?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think I would steer clear of Greece for the moment
opportunity.
On the international front. I think that's opportunity, but I think there's a lot of extremism there, and I think that doesn't necessarily bode well for recovery. To be honest, we'll look anywhere. You know, if the demographics are right, if they suit our market, then I don't think it's a market that we probably wouldn't go to.
Are people spending money these days? We're having this debate about the economy every day. Fed can't raise rates.
So I think people are spending less. I mean, our occupancy is still high, but they're spending less. So they're still going out because they want to go out, but they're a little bit concerned about uncertainty, and that's causing them to spend a little bit less.
Jonathan, thank you.
My pleasure.
Great to
Thank
see
you.
Jonathan Segal there, the One Group.